The views and opinions expressed in the following program are those of the hosts and guests, and not necessarily those of the staff and management of WWDB TV.
Whether she's walking the red carpet or doing interviews, you'll find her with celebrities and all the latest news. She's here, she's there, she's everywhere, she's always on the go. So sit back, relax, and get ready. This is the Corey Taylor Talks Show.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Corey Taylor Talks, live from Las Vegas, the #1 teen talk show. We have our guest for today. I'm really excited about it. It's a really awesome movie, and we have the director and one of the actors from it. And it's called Neon, and I'm really excited about it. So thank you guys so much for being on.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Of course. And why don't you introduce yourself and tell people a little bit about the film and your role with it?
Alrighty. Well, I direct and I also act in the film as a supporting role, and I play the character of Jason. He is the manager of the three main characters in the film who are making their start in the adult entertainment industry.
My name is Paul. I portray Ray, a old porn producer that Jason is trying to sway, woo, impress, so he can
Right.
So we make the business connection.
Right.
Exactly.
And so, I mean, now stuff like this has been going on for years and everything, but this isn't a super common thing to make a movie about. So what inspired you to actually do a film about the porn industry and all the behind the scenes of it?
Well, what started was I'd seen a couple of films that really inspired me to show the ugly side of life.
Right.
So one of the films that really stood out was the movie Good Time. It came out I think last summer with Robert Pattinson. Oh. That was a really good one, and that one was just about the ugly side of New York City and stuff. So I really wanted to focus on real characters and a very sad, unfortunate life. And then I saw this documentary called The Hot Girls Wanted on Netflix, and it was about these young girls in the porn industry, and I was like, there it is. There's the world I want to dive into. And then it was just hearing all these true life horror stories of people in that industry, and it was just too fun to pass up on. So yeah.
No, and I think that's interesting to show the negative sides of it and everything, because you hear about it, and like you said, there are documentaries, but a film to explore it's an interesting concept for sure.
Yeah, we get to pretty much choose all of the exciting stuff that happens, yes, rather than with some of the documentaries, it's them just sitting around a house talking. So yeah, we got to play with a lot of the dark and crazy things that happen behind the scenes, especially with a lot of the girls that don't want to do certain things, but their managers pressure them into doing certain kind of scenes. So yeah, that was one fun thing that we got to do with this film.
Absolutely. And what was it like for you as an actor coming on to this and doing this?
Well, I had fun with this one. Aaron's been kind enough to put me in some of his movies and little shorts. I'm not a professionally trained actor, but he has the confidence in me. I've learned a lot from him and the others. I mean, it's really, the art of acting itself is fascinating. And to get to your question, I was totally made up. I wore a wig.
Yes, you look completely different.
They colored my beard and mustache.
Yeah.
I think we had 3 different hairstyles with the wig, and it was funny because even though I knew it was me, I was able to portray Ray, I think, better.
Right.
Instead of looking like this, where I was made up a little bit. Right. And he's a seedy character. He's just, you would not want him to be a friend. He's a user.
Yeah. And so you said you weren't a professionally trained actor. So what did you do before becoming an actor?
I was a government employee up until 2008, and I retired. And then through Aaron's mom and my wife, that's how I met Aaron. And, I told him, I go, I appreciate some of the film time. He's written some excellent stuff. He's a fantastic writer. I mean, let me just talk about Aaron here for a second, if I may.
Go on. No, just kidding.
He writes, he produces, he acts, he directs, he edits. I mean, you know, in baseball, they always say they have the 5-tool player. Well, I just named 5 tools, and he does every one of them. And it's funny because even though he writes and produces and directs, the parts that he gives himself, he doesn't always throw the spotlight on him. Like the 3 girls in this movie, that's who everything goes towards.
Right.
So he's very unselfish in that, because with him, he wants the final product just to be a 100%.
Yeah. And so were you always wanting to be an actor and like do this, or
Actually,
or is it a secret dream, or is it just completely random?
I enjoy the arts,
Right.
but I'm not an artistic person, if that makes sense. I've been told over the years I have an analytical mind. Well, most analytical minds do not write songs, make movies, direct commercials, or star in anything. Right. But I'm confident in my own abilities as I'm getting older. This is something new and different. And I was never really afraid of anything in my life except heights. And so this was something I figured, you know, give it a shot. And I ask, whatever you need me to do, tell me. You know, because this is about your film. It's not about me. Because, you know, there's a lot of young talent that he's got that I wish to luck for as their careers progress.
Yeah. No, I think that's awesome. I always think it's interesting to find out how people got into the film industry and everything, because it's all different stories. People come in since they were babies, and then you have people in their 90s literally going into acting. So I think it's always really cool and interesting to learn about people. And speaking of which, now obviously you've done a lot of films and stuff already, but how did you get involved in the film industry?
Well, it's not as good as the story as Paul has. My brother used to babysit me when I was very young, and he would stick a camera in my face, and ever since then I was like coming up with movie ideas, and then it started to be me sticking a camera in his face and bothering him, and it was him and my cousin. We would just make movies every weekend, and then I realized I was like, I kind of want to do this for the rest of my life, and people thought I was crazy, but who's laughing now? No, just kidding.
And do you prefer directing or acting or writing or all of it, or do you have more of a preference with it?
As far as sleep schedule goes, acting, but no, because I edit the film myself too, because I'm a control freak. But it just depends, I guess, on the project, because I've acted in other stuff that's not my own movie, and that's fun. It's fun to do that, but directing's fun, because, like I said, I'm a control freak. So I guess I'd lean more. I guess the answer changes every time.
That's okay.
Director or actor, it's tough.
Gotcha.
It's tough to say.
No, that's awesome. And so with this film, you worked with a lot of Vegas people, which I think is awesome. We always love Vegas and love supporting everyone, and a couple of my friends even and everything. So what was it like with the casting process and getting everyone? And was it auditions, or was it like people you knew already, or?
Yeah. Well, there were a couple that I knew that I was like, hey, come down and audition. But with this movie, the audition process was very extensive. We had like probably over 700 to 1,000 in that area. People audition, at least sending self-tapes.
Right.
Because we went through backstage. We did people through LA and some from Vegas, and it was the process probably went on for about like 6 months of doing auditions, and we had some of the girls come in like multiple times. Some of them probably hated us by then, but yeah, no, it was cool, and it's good because I have like a good group of people that I know already that act, that I'm like, I'll just write them parts and be like, hey, come be in this. Like, I always have Paul, and then there's another actor named Kyler Campbell that I put in every movie of mine, and I'm sure when you see my movies, you'll see the consistent people that have always been in them. So, yeah.
And then for both of you, I think it's always great to know like behind the scenes and stuff, and everyone thinks filmmaking so glamorous and awesome, and it's just a beautiful time, but it's a lot of difficult things, and people don't realize how much work goes into it. For both of you, what would you say was your was the hardest moment on set, craziest moment, most difficult challenge?
You can take that one first.
as you can see, this is my hair attire most of my life. Wearing that wig was hot.
Yeah.
I tip my hat to people who have to wear wigs for whatever reasons. Yep. We had a 2-day shootout in a home in Logandale, which is north of here. And because of AC issues, we had to make sure for however long the shot was that the AC was down. And then when you have to, then maybe the different angles. So I did minimal amount of movement as I could for that scene because I didn't want to start sweating, even though, I mean, Deb, his mom, would have been there, with a dauber or something, take the sweat off. But it's fun. A lot of downtime when you realize what you want to get for a scene. Yeah. A lot of downtime, and then the different angles that Aaron likes to shoot. It still doesn't compare to the downtime that you have, for this setup. Joel, the cameraman, the main camera guy, just fantastic artist, knows his stuff. And I mean,
he knows where to put a camera.
And he knows what angle to use, what.
And his assistant, Brianna Felix, fantastic.
Yes,
the two of them together, two-headed monster.
Team,
yeah,
great team, and a lot of people don't give the behind-the-scenes people credit that needs to be given.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we had a wonderful cast and crew, honestly, and given this film with the subject matter with girls having to be, naked in this movie, I wanted to make sure all the girls felt comfortable, so we made sure we had a really good crew. So, and honestly, I'd say 95% of our crew was female, so that I think helped a lot of the girls. My mom was on set, so they know I wasn't Harvey Weinstein trying to skis on these girls, and my girlfriend's on set too, helping out, and Sandra Blandon's a big help, and Felicia Ramirez. We honestly, we had such a great cast and crew. It just but for me, for my answer for probably the hardest or craziest day, I'd just say the hardest scene for me actually was there's a scene where I'm supposed to snort cocaine in the film, and I'm not a drug user whatsoever, and I was very nervous because I've never snorted anything up my nose before, and what we used was what was like powdered lactose
milk.
Like it was lactose pretty much. And I just remember being so nervous before the scene that I remember because you were in the scene, and Nalia Shakarova, I just probably butchered her last name, she's in the scene, and another great actress, Francesca Phillips, is in it. So I snort the scene, or I snort the coke, and my character's supposed to have a bad reaction. So I get up and I run out of the room, and my camera got cut, and everyone's like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Oh no, I was just acting." But legitimately, I was.
That would have
been,
and that would have been one of those great, because number one, safety is always going to be the concern, even doing fake stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And then I mean, I did it. I had fun doing it. I'm not I like my occasional beer, but I'm not a drug user in any sense of the word.
Right.
But again, it was testing boundaries. But when he reacted the way he did, it was like, oh geez, what, did he? I thought maybe he stuck the plastic straw up his nose, too far, or something, and who knows what goes. But it would have been a great scene if we kept it rolling, though.
Yeah, that just shows I'm just such a good actor.
Yeah,
that
they believed it,
No, I'd be nervous too, because it is. I've been acting for years and everything, and I think, like I said, I think people don't know how much work it is behind the scenes of a film set, and it's little things, and you have to be creative with what you use and everything. So I think that's always so cool to know what you do, and I think powdered milk. I think that.
And Joel again with his camera angles. Knowing when you're like this, and he knows exactly where to put the camera, so it doesn't look all that, it looks real, but you can hide some stuff, and things like that, or you can maybe miss the line if that's what and then you throw the mirror. You
were missing lines. I was doing every single one. I got so clogged up from it. You're over here missing lines.
When I got home that night, I was sneezing. And it just, I don't have allergies, but I was getting rid of what was in there.
It clogs you up, you get all mucusy from it, and it's like, oh.
Yeah.
So I don't recommend the cocaine scenes, that's for sure.
Just don't do
Don't do
it in
drugs.
your
Don't do
There you
drugs.
go.
Drugs are bad.
But no, I think that's really cool. And in fact, right now you actually brought us a video to play. So why don't you explain what this video is?
All
and
right.
We'll go into it.
All right, so this is the trailer for the movie, and it premiered not too long ago on August 15th. And yeah, I don't think I should really give away too much. I just think, get a chance to check out what the movie's all about.
Okay. All right, so here's the trailer.
Ain't nobody watching. I feel it fade. I just fade away.
I thought I was stronger than this.
Fade away.
So, you're the new girl.
Yep, that's me. I'm Emma. I told you, it's just a modeling gig.
Please come home. I just miss you.
I don't know when I'll be back, okay? I don't trust him. There's just something off.
You and Danny, on our next film, we're going to lead in girl on girl. I can't wait. It's going to be hot. You two, oh.
It's all bullshit. Money, the fame. There is always a catch.
Emma.
I feel it. 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 I feel it.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Corey Taylor Talks, live from Las Vegas, the #1 teen talk show. You just saw the awesome trailer, which is really, really cool, and it's unique, and like you said, it's very visually pleasing. I like the colors, and it was a really awesome trailer. So I'm excited for the film.
Well, thank you so much. Yeah, we're excited to show it. We still don't have a date for the screening because we're still editing, hard at work. And we're just really glad that we had such a great cast and crew. I can't, praise them enough. Like Francesca Phillips, Hannah Weidenfeld. I'm so bad with last names. She's gonna kill me. Shadia Martin. Honestly, we had such a great cast and crew that we're just so lucky. So if the movie's good, I don't want people to think I did it. It was them. I was just lucky to be around there.
But the scenes I was in, obviously I wasn't with all the other actors, but the ones that I was involved with, the young ladies did a remarkable job. Now I wasn't in any of the nudity things, because I didn't need to be a Harvey Weinstein.
Right.
That was the on-set joke too, and no offense.
I was gonna say, I'm sure at this time when you were filming, it was probably right when all that stuff was happening.
Yeah.
So
I just, I have a daughter. I got a son, and respect, and I just, but the thing about these young ladies, and I'll pick out the three of them, the three main ones, very professional, good at what they did or do. There was one scene where one was in a real skimpy bikini, and so I had to look, and she was, very just comfortable, But again, that's how you could separate, and that's what I learned from you. You pull yourself out of you and into the character, and that and that's where the art comes in from it. So, but just fantastic. The ones I dealt with, just fantastic talent. Yeah. Especially my on-screen wife. Just this woman was.
Yeah, Nalia is so good. She's so intimidating.
Yes.
She's just got this striking look that I was scared to direct her half the time. But no, she was so good.
Yeah, and
because I have a few scenes with her too, and
she'd give me some little tips off to the side, because I'd ask her. I'm not afraid to ask, to try to again make me look better, but to help him out with the finished product. And she was very a couple of questions. Just, hey, this is what you might want to try. This is how you might want to look. Just fantastic, and You know, because I always tell Aaron, I go, well, you're dealing with the pros. I'm only at that AAA level yet, so I got to try to strive to get up to that next level. But just the people around on this one were fantastic. Just I can't praise them enough.
Yeah, agreed.
No, I think that's really cool, and I think having a great cast and crew is such an important part. And like you said too, everyone looks at the cast, but it's also very much the crew. It's a completely even. If the crew sucks, it doesn't matter how great the cast is, and the cast sucks, it doesn't matter how great the crew is. So I think it's really a perfect balance, and it seems like you guys found that. So.
Yeah, if it wasn't for Deborah Oakley, or as I like to call her, Mom, this movie would have fell apart. You know, because she was
house mom.
She was.
Actually.
She kept everything going. She's and even in Brianna Felix, she is too. She keeps it in check. Yep. She was my assistant director. She's fantastic. And no, honestly, it was just such a good environment, and I felt like at the end of each shooting day, we would actually have like production meetings and kind of talk about what we should do differently the next day, and because every movie's a learning process, because you learn what not to do for the next one, and I think it was very helpful that we had meetings every night to talk about what we needed to change, and there was even one day where we had I think it was like a 16-hour shoot day, and it was. Wow. Yeah. Yeah, it was exhausting. I remember all of us were contemplating quitting the movie after that day. But yeah, no, it was a tough day, and that was Francesca Phillips' first day of shooting, and that was like all of her crying scenes were in one day, and by the last scene she was like exhausted and was like, "Oh my God, do I have to keep going?" I'm like, "Please, let's just keep going. We're almost there." But yeah, it was that was a very long, painful day.
And you have days like that. It's tough, but as long as you pull through and help each other out, that's how you get it done.
Exactly.
It's tough. But so where can people? I know you said you don't have a screening date or anything yet. Do you have like a time frame of when you think it will come out?
Well, that's a good question. I'm aiming towards December.
Okay. Yeah.
To have like a local screening in Las Vegas. You know, the actors will come down. We'll do the Q&A. You know, the usual. As far as like we want to put it in like the festival circuit, get it out there, let some festivals see it. And as far as like distribution, we've already had 2 discussions with distributors on distributing the film, but we haven't locked anything in yet because I'm picky. I want to wait. I don't want to just like at the first deal be like, take my movie. I want to let it run its course. So that's where. So I'd say December. So is probably when.
Perfect. Yeah. And where can people keep up to date with both of you and follow it and follow when the film is and everything? Where can people follow you and keep up?
Well, you can catch Paul on Tinder. No, just kidding. No. You could honestly, my personal accounts are extremely boring. It's my dogs. So you don't need to check that out. But you could check out Oakpart Productions. So at Oakpart Productions on Instagram.
I'm really not a social media connoisseur. Aaron was kind enough to set up an IMDb, and there's 2 of the ones that he had me in, and so I'm out there. I mean, but there's no photo on it. There's no nothing. Again, this isn't a self-gratifying thing. It's something he gets me to do a couple times a year. I'm retired. I don't have a job, so. I have a lot of free time, and I even told Aaron, I said, if there's a movie that you have that doesn't call for a middle-aged, I'll be nice to myself on that one.
No,
for a middle-aged thing,
you're not that old.
I'll help you behind
I hate when people say that.
I'll help you behind the scenes. I'll run a boom mic. In fact, I held the camera with this movie, and that's all I'm going to say about that. And I have a newfound respect for Joel, and because that was heavy.
Yeah,
and it's taxing, but it just again it's to make him look good. He's young, up and comer. This could be, and not just Aaron, but this generation and these young male and female producers. Things are changing, and this could be openings that these guys and gals could possibly take advantage of.
Yeah, and also just kind of like what you were saying, it's like I remember when I wrote this script, I was so nervous to pitch the character to him because when you tell people like, oh, I'm doing a movie about porn, a lot of them are like, what, you're making a porno? Like I remember when I told my mom like I'm doing a movie about porn, she looked at me and was like, so you don't care about making movies anymore, huh? And I'm like, what are you talking about? No, the movie's about porn. Right. So, yeah, I was nervous to tell him, but luckily he was like, I get to wear a wig, I'm in.
Yep, I'm in. Oh, I get not to look gray, I'm in.
Yeah,
that was still didn't make me look younger, though.
No, it did. No, it definitely did. A lot of us got to look different. A lot of us got to look. I bleached my hair for the film. And we had another character who got to wear a wig as well, and another girl dyed her hair lighter. Yeah. So a lot of us got to look different, which I think helped us become the characters. Yeah. And also OakpartProductions.com. I want to throw that in there too. Yeah. Go to check out that. That has a lot of our updates and stuff. Yeah. So, yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for being on, and I hope everything goes great with it. I'm sure it will. It's already got a lot of attention and everything, so that's awesome. And thank you guys so much for watching. And remember, never give up, always believe, and you will achieve. Thank you, and God bless.
Thank you.